So I wanted to share something with you today about why I why I do fat loss, even though I hate it. Now, I love to eat. I like my wine. I like my cheese. I like to enjoy my foods. And when my son was born about 6 years ago, um, it coincided with probably some of the most heavy stuff, stress wise and personal wise, that I'd ever had in my life. So I'd had a newborn, no sleep, heavy stress from my business at the time, and I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped doing my yoga. I stopped doing my weight training. I stopped eating right. I started drinking heavier, more than I'd ever before. I started eating really not how I should be eating, and within a year, I put on a good 45 pounds, and I'm 5'4", so that's a significant amount of weight. I don't think I'd ever weighed heavier in my life, and I come from a family of diabetes. Both sides of my family, both of my grandparents were diabetic, and I watched one of them, really suffer from the disease towards the end of their life, and the other one managed it through exercise and diet, and he didn't pass from it, but it was a very impactful for him in his life. And now, as my son grew older, one day I looked in the mirror and I realized how much weight I had put on. So I started my journey again. I've done it before, and every once in a while, you just put a little bit more on. You need a little bit of tweaking, and you need to rededicate your efforts. So I started over. I starting with my yoga for about 6 weeks. Then I started making changes to my nutrition that were powerful for me. Then I started weight training again. And then I started doing movement again. 4 steps. Really simple. If you follow them, they work. And in about a year from that point of making the decision to start to lose a large amount of weight that I was holding on to, I lost about 40 pounds of it. Good 40 pounds. Now, the process, though, was really, really interesting, and especially as I am now, I kind of stopped for a while, and I went into maintenance mode, and I haven't gained any back, but I'm in the process of trying to cut the last 5 to 6 pounds that I want to get off my waistline off. And today, I was notching my belt on my shorts, and I'm down to the final notch. I can't, there's no more to go. I'm gonna have to get new clothes now. All my clothes don't fit anymore because I'm significantly smaller than I was many years ago, which is nice feeling. It's a really nice feeling, and it made me reflect on the journey that from when I started that process again to now. And unless you have the genetics of it, and my people are not small people. My family is not thin; they are short, stocky people. So genetically, there's always going to be some level of I'm always going to have a little bit of bulk on me, but that can be turned into muscle rather than fat. But unless you have the genetics of family who is predispositioned to just being having more weight on you. You have the body type that you're always going to have a little bit on you, there's nothing wrong with that. I have a former student named Sydney who went on a journey with us for Transformation Camp, who got some amazing results in her face. She dropped some weight. She's very, very active. I would not qualify her as unhealthy at all, but she has the genetics of a family that is, just built to be a little bit bigger, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And if you have ever seen Sydney, you know that she is active, she's vital, she is vibrant, and so even with genetics, you can still come to health. But unless you have those kind of genetics, when you suddenly gain a bunch of weight like that, or if it's been over a long period of time, there's a good chance that it comes with a real emotional toll. It can be really not just like physically heavy, but there is probably some deep emotion guiding the fact that you stopped taking care of yourself. There just is. In every single case of fat loss that I have worked with, from myself to my clients who are successful to the ones that are not, the number one thing that eventually will help eliminate those desires to be, whether you want them or not, there's a part of you that is like, I don't want this. I'm putting all this weight on me. There's something inside you that is heavy and is pushing down your efforts to be vibrant and healthy. And it's stronger than your desire to lose weight, to do fat loss. It's that thing that when you get rid of it, makes your whole life better. And I can definitely attest to that in my life. You know, like I had a significant amount of stuff left over from this period of time when like I gained all this weight for myself. And my efforts became easier once I addressed those things. Once I really took a look at like, well, why am I not taking care of myself? Why am I feeling this thing to just eat, you know, do whatever I want? And it was really very helpful because since I've done that, this last little bit of weight is starting to slough off. And that's the last part is the hardest, by the way. So you always get to the point where you're like, yeah, I lost a bunch of weight, but then that last 5 to 6 pounds just is stubborn. And it really makes you go into discipline. And, you know, it does all this stuff that really makes you look at deeper rooted stuff. So for me, you know, the reason why I do this fat loss stuff, and even though I hate it, is because it makes me feel better. And it makes it so that I will be around as a old man for my son, who is now 6 and vibrant and gregarious and runs around like crazy. Like I'm 46 and I get dusted by a 6-year-old often. So if you are on a fat loss journey, find your why. Dig deeper than just the desire to lose those unwanted inches. Look at like and be ready. Get a mentor, get a guide, get a trainer, get a coach, get someone to help you, because it's stuff you can't do on your own. You just can't. As much as you want to, you're gonna need help. So be well.